Hello there and welcome back to Szpakowo. So it's September and our rice is ready for the harvester. Before we do that, let's ride our horses for the month. Come here, Brown Mischief. Let's ride you first. Let's go. Oh, Brown Beast. Got my horses mixed up. Not Brown Mischief, it's Brown Beast. Okay, I will get these ridden and brushed and I'll be back within a second. Okay, so that is our horses ridden and brushed for the month. Let's take a quick look at how they're doing. So we got up to our horses here. They're now worth 1,294. I wonder what age they are at when they are the best sell price. We'll have to keep an eye on their hay because they seem to be munching through that quite quickly. So we'll just have to make sure that stays topped up. Let's take a quick look at our cows. How are they doing? So they're 30% towards their reproduction. So I think when they reach their full reproduction, we'll probably sell them because we'll get 1,500 per cow. And we have 30 of them, so that'll be a nice 45,000 to add to our balance. It's also an option to sell them now because we are going to have to get a different breed of cows for the next level of our VIP order. So if we need a quick injection of 30 or so thousand euros, we also have the option of selling them early. So what do we have on the cards for September? So our rice needs to be harvested, I believe. Let's just check our map. Oh, our rice doesn't need to be harvested. I thought rice harvesting was September. Oh wait, I did that thing again, didn't I, where I switched everything off. Yeah. There we go. Rice is ready to harvest. Now, taking a look at our other fields here, if we look at our soil composition, it looks like this field is mulched. Yeah, that field's mulched. That field is mulched. This field needs mulching, so 124. We can mulch that. It doesn't have to be done this month, but it needs to be done at some point. And then if we look at our items to be sold, we have milk and milk bottled to be sold next month, but that's almost at its premium price, so we could consider selling that. And then our other dairy products are also October, so we have a little bit of bottled milk, we have some butter, and we have a little bit of cheese as well. So there's a nice, what do we have there, 4,000, 4,000, 7,000, about 15,000 there. Let's carry on with harvesting our rice, and what I'm hoping to do in this episode is actually get through September into October so we can harvest our sugar beet and get our sugar production going and also our chocolate production. That was one thing I needed to think about. At the end of the last episode, I couldn't decide what to do with our sorghum. I couldn't decide whether to buy a silo to sell it or what to do with it. So what I'm going to do is just dump it in the grain mill. And if you remember back to when we were harvesting the sorghum yesterday, I said if we plant sorghum in that field 2 years in a row and dump it all in the grain mill, we'll have enough sorghum in the grain mill not to have to plant sorghum in that third year. So that's what we're going to do. We don't need the money that desperately, and I feel that by putting it in the grain mill and kind of planning for the future, we'll have a spare field, a rather large spare field, to plant another crop in not next year, but the year after. So all of the sorghum can go straight in there, or most of the sorghum can go in there. Looks like that might be full. No, it's not full. Why is that not going in there? No, I don't know. Farming Simulator is being Farming Simulator. Anyways, let's jump in our harvester and let's start harvesting our rice. I will continue on with that. I will join you after complete. Okay, so that is our rice field harvested. And let's do a quick stock count. How much rice did we get? So we got 9,800 litres in the trailer and almost another trailer load there. So not a bad yield. Think about 13,500, is that right? Maybe a little more, maybe 14,000. Our harvester's squeaking at us because it is thirsty. Don't want to let it run out of fuel again like we did before. However, I think this is probably going to be the last time we use it this year, because we'll be using our tractor to do the sugar beets next month. Okay, so 14,433 in total for our rice harvest this year. I feel like that might be a little more than we got last year. I actually don't know. Switch over to our tractor. Let's get this grain dumped in the grain mill. And I just realized that my short-term memory is absolutely horrendous. I literally said 1 minute before I parked the harvester away that we need to go over to the fuel station and fill up with fuel. And then I just parked the harvester away like I never even had that thought or responsibility. So yes, I will be getting the harvester out again in a second and sending it over to the store to fill up with fuel. All of our grain has been emptied into the grain mill. Let's take a look at our production and start up that rice flour production again. And our sorghum flour production is doing just fine. I was having some thoughts in between episodes of maybe at this point looking at building the pasta production as our next expansion. The factory itself is absolutely huge, but it's fairly cheap at 90,000. It would take up a huge amount of space, but I was thinking about maybe having this as our next expansion, maybe like putting it somewhere like here or somewhere like that. Once we've harvested this field, we can kind of plant it in there and start producing pasta. We would need to get some wheat produced though. Something to consider for the future. So we'll get this filled up with diesel, and I don't think I'm going to check contracts this month. I think I would rather just jump through to October, repurchase the equipment we need to purchase to harvest our sugar beets, and just get that sugar beet harvested, get the sugar mill purchased, and call this season's harvest complete. So yeah, I think I will do that. I will see you in October. October is here, and to grind our stumps we need to rent a skid steer. I'm starting to run out of rhymes. I'm going to have to stop soon, aren't I? Probably should have stopped months ago. Let's get our horses ridden before we take a look at harvesting our sugar beets. I'll see you soon. Okay, that is our horses ridden and brushed. Let's take a look at our fields. Sugar beets are ready to be harvested. Let's take a quick look at our precision farming. Yeah, so still very low score for nitrogen in that field, but full score for nitrogen in this field, but low score for weed control and for tillage. I'm wondering if the nitrogen gets analysed when you harvest the field. Let's do a little test on our sugar beet field. So our nitrogen is currently there at 70. Let's see where it gets up to once we've harvested the field. Take a look at our animals quickly. So their milk is getting full and their slurry is starting to fill up again. So we might just do a couple of runs over to the milk sell point to offload our milk once we've harvested our sugar beets. That will get us a little bit of money, and we'll leave the slurry for another couple of months. And their food, yeah, they're going to need food probably by the end of the year. Okay, so first off for this month then, let's take a look in the discount store just in case any of those sugar beet tools that we need have come in. It doesn't look like they have. So in that case, let's buy the sugar beet tools So the beet harvester here will buy this and the topper again, and we will start with the sugar beet harvest. So let's do the overloading. We'll get the black design and we'll change the color to our favorite, or my favorite. You might not like it, but I think it looks pretty cool. So we're going to buy that. And we're also going to buy the topper to go with it. Do that. I'm not sure what this mechanical blade sensor is. I can see what it adds to the front, but I don't know if that makes any difference to it. And because it's a mod, there's no real information. So we'll buy this 20,500, and we are all of a sudden very low on money again. So let's disconnect our trailer. What I'm going to do actually is just take our trailer over to where the sugar beet field is. It needs to find its way over there somehow, so I may as well take it over there while we're attached to it. Then I'll go over to the store. We'll pick up the 2 contraptions that we've just purchased, and we will get to harvesting our sugar beets. I will make some progress, and I'll come back to you in a little bit. See you soon. Okay, so I had to disconnect the harvester from the tractor, as the tractor wasn't able to make it up the hill with both implements attached, because the harvester needs 185 horsepower and this topper at the front needs an additional 85. So unless we were on a perfectly flat field, this was never going to work. So I just figured it would be easier if we disconnect the harvester, buzz around the field with the topper, and then go around again with the harvester. This has taken quite some time and are about 1/3 of a tank of diesel, but the topping is finally done. I'm not going to worry about those little straggly pieces. They can be sacrificed. We've got so much here in terms of yield. I think the harvester was already on 3,000 litres or so. So yeah, we've got so much, we don't need to worry about the extra few heads of beets to be topped. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do the emptying into the trailer. Let's put the trailer somewhere near the field. It might make it a little easier. What I'm going to have to do is just put the trailer like here, and then every time the harvester fills up, we're going to have to come over here and empty it into the trailer. Something else I also realized is that the VIP order requires cut sugar beet. So that means we're going to have to go and buy the the cutter that goes with our front loader. That's going to be 15,000 extra. I completely forgot about that. This little piece of the field we did yielded 3,600 litres. So we have a lot of sugar beets to collect up. I guess I should stop talking about it and get on with it. Let's first harvest the load field taken care of, and then we will go get the cutter and get the sugar beet cut that we need to for the VIP order, get that delivered, and then we can start taking a look at buying the sugar mill and filling that up with what we're harvesting off the field, and we can take stock of where we're at then. What I'm intending to do for the sugar mill is have 2 streams of production running, because it can do regular sugar beet and it can also do cut sugar beet. You can turn them both into sugar. The cut sugar beet is a little more efficient in terms of its ratio. However, we have enough sugar beet that we're going to be able to do both without a problem. So once this is emptied, let's go and pick up the cutter and we'll continue from there. Okay, so we're back at the farm with our sugar beet cutter, and we're going to have to figure out how we're going to get the uncut sugar beet into cut sugar beet. I'm hoping that I can just dump it on the floor out of the trailer and then scoop it up with this bucket, cut it and then throw it back in the trailer. Let's see. Yes, I can. Perfect. So we'll just dump it out on the floor like that. I really can't see a way to do it. Ideally, we would have a second tractor that would be capable of doing this, but let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, and then we can... That's not what I was hoping for. Okay, so we're going to have to go and get some kind of weight to balance ourselves. Maybe we'll just pick up the spreader. Okay, I think we've solved it. We're able to adjust the angle of the front loader tool with the cultivator attached. So, problem solved for now. Let's get this last one scooped up and dropped in the trailer. And then we'll have to harvest some more and get that cut. And then we'll take the 9,000 litres over to the sell point, and then we'll get our bonus. And then we can look at building the sugar mill. Okay, so here we are over at the sell point. So this is our level 4 VIP order officially complete. So we got 3,933 income from 9,000 litres. That's not bad actually, because we're going to get a lot of sugar beets off that field. When I was looking at the yield, it actually yields higher than our potatoes. 14,000 litres is what we've gotten so far off of just those 2 little strips we've done. I would say we're probably going to get close to 100,000 litres of sugar beets, and it's all going to go into our sugar mill to be converted into sugar. Some of that's going to be distributed to the dairy for chocolate, so that's another additional income stream. And then once the dairy input is full, we can start selling the sugar. So the next thing to do before we get back to picking up the sugar beets off the field is to actually build the sugar mill. There's another tiny production just like the others. Now where are we going to put it? I think we should probably keep it over here with the other productions. We can put it here where our house used to be, can't we? It's a nice flat land. And yeah, I think that's a good place for it. There we go. That looks reasonable, I think. I might as well do that. I should probably do that over here too, shouldn't we? No, that can stay as grass because that was back in the days when we were too poor to lay our own surfaces. So it takes 36,000 litres of sugar beet, 36,000 litres of cut sugar beet to produce, so 5 cut sugar beet is 3 sugar, and then 2 sugar beet is 1 sugar. So we're going to be filling it up with both sugar beet and cut sugar beet and letting the production run. So I think the next task is to get all of the sugar beets off the field and just plonked in one big pile We've started it there, so we can just make a giant pile of it, and then we can scoop up what we need with the bucket, cut it before we put it in the trailer for the sugar mill, and the rest of it we can just load into the trailer with the bucket without cutting it, and also place that in the sugar mill. Alright, so I'll continue with this sugar beet harvest, and I will come back to you in a little while. See you soon. Okay, I am going to make an executive decision for Puppington Farms. We are going to get a second tractor because this is just turning out to be really painful. I've decided just to make piles closest to the edge of the field wherever I can, so I'm just using the rice field for this pile. When I get over to that side, I'll use the pile over there. But we've covered 0.4 hectares of our field. And if we look at it, we've covered probably about 10% of it. First thing, let's check the discount store. Of course, no tractors in there because we're on the lookout for one. Let's see what we can do in terms of a cheap tractor. My initial thought is to go for something really small and really cheap. Okay, so I've been looking through the tractors and I think we're going to pick up one of these. It's super old, but we can get it in absolutely fantastic condition. We can get a giant intake on it because the petrol head in me really wants a giant air filter intake. I was slightly concerned about the size of the fuel tank on this, but they're all around about the same size at this price point. So let's pick this up. It's not too expensive. Well, actually, 62,000. Oh, the main color's costing us a lot. Okay, we'll leave the colors as default for now, even though I don't really like them. Just because, yeah, that's an extra 7,000 or so. So we'll pick this up for 53,000, and that is our new tractor. So this means that we can actually follow the harvester around the field with the tractor and the trailer, and it will make unloading somewhat easier. So let's get back over to the farm. And wow, this tractor is incredibly noisy. Just had to turn my headphone volumes down. Oh, and is that a blow-off valve I hear? Oh yeah. Oh, I like this tractor already. If I haven't shared this previously, the sound of a blow-off valve is literally my favourite thing when it comes to cars, vehicles. So the fact that this tractor has one is absolutely brilliant. Let's put a really big smile on my face. You can expect to hear me letting off the blow-off valve at every given opportunity from this point onwards. Just like that. Alright. Enough behaving like a 5-year-old with his first car. Let's jump in the other tractor and we'll set this up on a worker, and then we'll be able to follow around with our new tractor and trailer, and hopefully that will make this field slightly less painful to complete. Now, is this the part where we find out that the AI worker, for whatever reason, won't do this field. I've literally just followed the AI worker around the field to all 4 corners with the trailer, hoping that it's actually going to get us together and find a place to start harvesting, but it didn't. I tried turning off the headlands, so it just went up and down, but no, it didn't work. So I think I'm just going to have to do this field manually and take care of it myself. I don't think the new tractor was a complete waste of money, because we are at least going to be able to take the tractor to where the harvester is and unload it fairly easily without having to keep going over to a dumping site that we've picked out. So yeah, I will continue with this. It's starting to get a little dark, so what I might actually do is skip through to November and continue this in November. So yeah, we will see. So I will continue with the harvesting, and I will come back to you once we've made some progress. See you soon.
First page singing under the moon. You and me together, it felt so good. But then you made me feel blue when you ran away with somebody new. Look, you're at my door, saying I look nice. Can't you see I'm happy now? I don't miss your lies. I've been moving on, I've been cold outside, and I don't need nobody else to live for paradise.
Okay, so we skipped through to November as it started getting dark, and I just thought it would be easier to skip through to the new month and continue when we had some more light. Fortunately, we are still able to pick the sugar beets up off the field, and the collection continues. You're not getting a rhyme this month because I'm kind of really want to get this completed, so no rhyme for you. You are spared for just 1 month. I'll be back in December with more rhymes. We missed the selling of our dairy products, so their price has probably gone down a bit, but I'm not even going to check that until after we finish this field, because I am on a mission to get this done. We're making semi-decent progress now. We've covered the smaller half of the field, and we're moving on to the bigger half. We are in line with the GPS steering, so I don't anticipate the rest of the field to be too frustrating. So let's shut that down. We'll switch back to our harvester and let the collection commence. I will continue again, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, so we are finally doing the last row of our sugar beets. I honestly thought this was going to be the never-ending field. It has been an adventure, let's put it that way. It's been an adventure. And the next task is to do something with all of these sugar beets. I actually don't know how much we have, but look at the yield. There's like 100 tons per hectare. So of course, when we don't have the right equipment, the yield is always right up there to cause us the most inconvenience possible. So that's it. We are done officially. The sugar beet harvest is over, except for this little piece here and that little piece next to us, because of course I wouldn't be me if I didn't pick up these little things, would I? So let's grab these two little pieces, because you know, we don't quite have enough sugar beets yet, do we? No, we don't. Get these little straggly pieces as well. It's not that we don't have enough, I just don't like that these sugar beets think they can get one over on me by staying on the field. Anyways, let's get this unloaded onto the pile. I'll have to figure out where we're going to put our harvester, because we don't have any room left anywhere really. So let's get that pile on. Let's get this trailer unloaded. And while that is doing that, I'm actually going to shut down the engine here, shut down this engine, and I'm quickly going to ride our horses before I forget, because I don't want to be forgetting to do that. So let's go over to our horses here, whip over the fence. Come here, brown beast, let's go for a ride. Okay, horses are ridden and brushed for the month. Let's get back to our task of dealing with this sugar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start by attacking the pile that's on our sugar beet field. And we're going to grind it up, put it in the trailer, and then we're going to load up the sugar mill. And then the sugar mill is going to be full of both cut sugar beet and regular sugar beet. Then I'm going to have to build some kind of storage for the remaining sugar beet. Now I don't quite know what that looks like yet, so I will have to figure that out. The trailer stopped emptying, so I assumed that the sugar mill was full, but apparently it wasn't. So let's get ourselves back in the drop-off point. And I want to get as much of this trailer emptied as possible, and then at least clear the rice field of that beet and get it cut into cut sugar beet. And then we can look at building our storages. So is that... It's still not there. There we go. It's there now. Okay. So yeah, let's get back over to the pile of sugar beet. We'll get the rest of this collected up and cut and dumped in the trailer. And then at least both of our fields are clear of the piles. And then we can think about the storages that we're going to put them in. I think that'll be fine. Yeah, just lopping off a little piece of our field there for a decent amount of extra storage. Let's plant it down. To finish off this piece, let's smooth out this land here. And then we need to reshape this field slightly. So let's get our painting tool out. Alright, that's our new storage area. Where are we? Over here. So a little bit more sculpting here. Let's move our cells out of the way. And then let's get this leveled out nicely. Okay, I'm happy with how that looks now. And let's check our productions quickly to see what's happening in there. So our sugar mill, that is producing sugar. Yeah, it's taken almost 1,000 litres of regular sugar beet, and it's taken about 500 litres of cut sugar beet. That's going to be going to a fair amount of that product that we harvested. And how much is it delivered to the dairy? It's delivered 300 litres to the dairy so far. So that's pretty decent. And we've also got 10 litres of chocolate. Quick check of our greenhouse. We're doing okay for water there. We're going to need to top that up pretty soon. There's a problem with our cows. They're almost out of TMR, so I'll get this done off camera. I may as well, because I'm going to have to take the long way around and try and figure out my way through the maze of equipment we have to get to feeding the cows. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I really hope you're enjoying following along as much as I'm enjoying playing this this playthrough. If you are enjoying, of course, please do give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. And I do hope to see you in the next episode. Till then, bye for now.